Yo, what's up guys? Kevin here. Welcome to the Snowboard Pro Camp live chat here from Zermatt, Switzerland. We'll be on here for the next hour to answer all your snowboard questions and also to recap the week here of snowboarding up in the Zermatt Snowboard Park. Been having an amazing time. Lots of progression happening. The park up there is great for progression, and had some new videos out for you guys recently as well. So I've been using the GoPro Max 360 camera, which has been turning out great for filming, learning how to use it, learning how to edit with it. Met an awesome snowboarder up in the park as well, Patrick, who I made a video with. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out later. But filmed that all with the GoPro Max 360. I think it turned out pretty cool, and Patrick's riding was incredible. And yeah, just been having an amazing time. Got another video ready for you guys. It should be up tomorrow. And yeah, Zermatt has been working out great. The summer snowboarding here has been super fun. Yeah, and just the town overall is incredible. Switzerland is very cool. And yeah, really stoked to be here. So if you guys have any questions about summer snowboarding, about Switzerland, about coming to Zermatt, definitely hit me up. Also, if you guys have any questions about just snowboarding in general, like progression, beginner, trick progression, anything like that. Also, I know a lot of people are starting to get their gear ready for the upcoming season. So if you have any gear questions, hit me up as well. But yeah, stoked to talk to you guys. Let's give a few people some shout outs. Thanks for all the OGs who tune in. And thanks, shout out to all the moderators for hopping on as well. Oh, one thing to mention too, I got to snowboard a couple days with a Million Pop-Off. So one of the OGs on the channel here who has been tuning into the live chats, I think ever since the very first one. So got to ride a couple days with a Million Pop-Off here in Switzerland. So that was a really special thing to do. So it's always amazing meeting you guys. I know that I've actually had the chance to meet a bunch of you guys on the live chat. So always stoked to meet new people. But yeah, shout out to Adam Searles, Red's Cap. Met those guys before as well. We got, who else we got on here? We got Shred 1904 watching from the other room. We've got Bad Riders. What's up, Adam? Thanks for hopping on in. Grandpa Bob is on here. All right. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in early. Oh, Reggie wants to know, where's everyone watching from? That's always like really fun to see where people are watching from in the stream. So let us know, guys, where you're watching from with your question. We got some people watching from Zermatt, Switzerland, from Singapore, from the UK. Oh, first question from one Tony 232. When are we going to get some drone footage? Awesome, good question, man. So there have been a few videos with drone footage. I think if you go back, I don't know, I can't remember exactly which ones, but I've done a few drone shots. But yeah, maybe do for some more. So maybe I'll get the camera up tomorrow for a bunch more drone shots. But there's been a few drone clips in a few of the videos. But yeah, definitely the mountains here are so scenic. Could definitely do with some more drone shots. Perry's watching from Hong Kong. George Shred Goon TV says, where did you fly into, and do you rent a car to drive to Zermatt? So we flew into, we actually flew into Zurich, and then from Zurich we took a train to Zermatt, because Zermatt's actually a car-free town, so you can't drive to Zermatt, but you can park a car in a town nearby. But I recommend that you actually don't rent a car, because you can't bring it here. So you'd have to park it and leave it at the closest town. So yeah, I think the train is the way to go. Flew into Zurich, and then it was a train ride to Zermatt, about 3.5 hours. Joel, what is the biggest and smallest ski resort you've ever been to? Biggest and smallest. Wow. So probably the biggest I've been to is in St. Anton, Austria. I feel like that was like the most vast and largest. Zermatt might be competing with that, but because it's the summer, it's more limited, obviously. but this place seems huge as well. So, but I think St. Anton for wintertime has definitely been the biggest like resort. And then the smallest, honestly, Japan is pretty small, to be honest. So maybe the resorts in Japan, but I guess Big Bear in California, that was a pretty small resort as well, but they make up for it with like the top to bottom terrain park. And Lance with the Max question says, love the Max footage. Any tips for getting started with it? Yeah, like for me, the way that I got started with the GoPro Max was just watching some GoPro or some tutorial videos on how to edit with it. So there was a few videos online that I found that taught me how to edit. And but the most important thing is just getting out, using it, and making videos. So whether it's like, you know, just making a video that's a few minutes long, or making like a 10-minute video or so on, like just using it, I think is the best way to learn. But yeah, once I bought it, I started watching videos. There's like maybe 3 or 4 videos on how to edit with the GoPro Max 360, and just watching some videos that other people have made as well. So getting some ideas, some cool ideas for like how to film with it. And yeah, that's about it. And then just as you use it, you start to get more experience with it. But yeah, that's start out just by using it, man. Trip wants to know, what mountain are you going on? Because I'm going to Zermatt. Awesome. So we've just been riding in the summer in the snow park. So the Zermatt snow park. So that's where we've been riding. It's a pretty small area overall. So if you're up riding tomorrow, we'll definitely see you. But tomorrow's actually our last day snowboarding, and probably gonna be coming back to Zermatt possibly in September. So if I don't see it tomorrow, maybe we'll see it in September. We got Adam watching from Alberta. We got someone watching in Norton from Florida, from Ohio, from Belgium, Kansas, Illinois, Vancouver, Canada. Awesome guys all over the world. The Netherlands, Colorado. Sweet, thank you everyone for tuning in. George L says, what is the best freestyle snowboard in your opinion? Yeah, good question, George. I think it kind of depends on your level of freestyle snowboarding, to be honest. So for me, it's like my favorite freestyle board has kind of progressed as I progress at freestyle. Because when you're in the more intermediate stages, you want a more forgiving board. So a few boards back, I was riding the GNU Space Case, and it was a kind of camber rocker combination board. And that was amazing for some like learning some jib tricks, a bit more of a forgiving board because it was softer and because of the rocker. So something like the Space Case. Then I moved on to the GNU Headspace, which was a little bit more of a high intermediate, low advanced freestyle board, and the camber definitely helped it be a bit more advanced. And the board I'm riding now, the one right over my shoulder that's upside down, the Capita Outsiders, is probably my most aggressive park board that I've ever ridden. And I feel like I've just kind of gotten to the level now where I can handle like a more aggressive, full camber, stiffer park board. So it really depends on your ability. So a beginner park rider would do much better with a softer park board that's got some rocker in it. It's gonna make it more forgiving. Where a really advanced or expert level rider wants like a stiffer, more aggressive park board. So yeah, I think that's a good way to find the perfect board for you. All right, first super chat from Stefan Mendoza. Thanks for the support, Stefan. Says, what are the restrictions like at the resort? Is it strict? I don't know exactly how strict they are, but there's a sign when you like go to the gondola station, and it says like that you have to wear a like I guess like medical mask. So we all have we have a mask in our pocket, and so for when we're in the gondola station, when riding the gondolas, we're just wearing like a mask. And there's like a tape on the ground keeping people like distanced in the lineups, but it seems pretty relaxed. Like if somebody like forgets to put their mask on, somebody will come out and say like, they'll just tell you like, oh, you need a mask, and then people will put it on. So I feel like they're strict in that way, where you do have to wear a mask. And then they have them for sale at the ticket counter for like $1. So if you forget a mask, then you can just buy one. But nothing like too crazy. It's been pretty mellow. I'm sure once it's like busier, then you can possibly run into some issues. But so far, it's been smooth. True to this, DG says, when you were a child, did you have a dream of competing or being sponsored? Yeah, I think it's like every young snowboarder's dream to be like sponsored or win contests. But yeah, it was kind of like a dream, but I'd never really thought that I would, get to that level, just because I got into snowboarding a little bit later. So I didn't start snowboarding till I was 15. And I know that a lot of people that were winning contests were like around my age at that time, like 15 to like 19 years old. So yeah, it's like you got to start really early with the contests and being sponsored. So I just got into it a bit too late. And Elliot says, I need to buy some new boots. Any recommendations? For me, the boots that have worked out really well have been Adidas and Vans. So I recommend you try some of those on, see if they're comfortable on your feet. And also, I really like boots that just have the straight traditional laces. I find that the traditional lace style is just the best for like getting the boots tight where you need them. So that's my personal recommendation. Alice says, does Zermatt have any runs open besides the park? Currently searching for spots when I move to Geneva next year. So at the moment there's a park and there's maybe 2 or 3 like runs that are beside T-bars. So there's not really much open for the summer in terms of like stuff outside of the terrain park. So yeah, if you're not into the park, then it may be fun to go up for a day, but I don't think you'd like in the summertime. But like if you want to work on things like your carving, I see people up there like practicing carving and butters and stuff on the slopes. So that can be fun. But I'm sure that in the wintertime, it's like probably opens up to like hundreds and hundreds of runs and like a massive area. So yeah, if you're moving to the area, this is definitely a place that would be really fun to visit. What's up? Pa Lise is saying hello. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Emer says, what is your favorite grab? My favorite grab is probably kind of like a mute grab, but like a shifted out mute grab. It's actually the Snowboard Pro Camp logo. So that I think is my favorite grab. Silver wants to know, have you broken your foot before? No, I've never broken a foot. That would be very painful. Garrett says, where and when is your next trip? So I think the next trip is actually to come back here. So right now we're gonna go to London for a few days, hang out. We might go to Portugal after that, but then come back to Zermatt for another snowboard session, just because at the moment it's kind of limited where you can snowboard in the world because of the travel restrictions, and one of the places that is open for Canadians is Switzerland, so I may be back here. And M. Norton with the super chat, thanks for the support, says, I'm 6'5", 225 pounds. Do you think I'd be okay on a new 160 wide free thinker? Waist width is 263 millimeters. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So 225, 160 wide free thinker. Yeah, that sounds good. If you're into if you want to use it as like a freestyle board, then that sounds like the right size for you. Maybe just double check on the weight scale, or the sizing scale on the website to make sure that you fall in the sweet spot. And also just check out your boot size too, to make sure that your boot yeah, you seem like a big dude, 6'5", 225. So make sure that your boots are gonna fit in the width of that. So waist width 263 is pretty wide, but if you have really large feet, like 13 or 14, then you may want to compare to some other wider boards to make sure it's going to be wide enough. All right, Board M saying hit the Stoke switch. Thanks, man. Yeah, give this video a like, guys, if you like it. Yeah, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Ramy with the super chat from Canada. What's up, Ramy? Thanks for tuning in, man. Says, Kev, I was supposed to take my flight to Chile tomorrow. One more trip canceled. Oh no, that's so frustrating. Ramy, I'm sorry to hear that, man. If you guys don't know, Ramy actually gave us some advice for planning our Chile trip last year. And yeah, Chile was such an amazing place. I'm sorry that trip fell through for you. But yeah, guys, check out Ramy on Instagram too, World Snowboard Camp. He's got some awesome posts up there, and he's guiding groups and stuff in Whistler. So, but yeah, I'm sorry to hear that your Chile trip got canceled. That's a bummer. It's a rough season for snowboarding, for trips for sure. But man, hopefully I'll see you in Chile next year, man. We'll definitely see you in Whistler soon. Yeah. Old Man Shredder with the super chat as well. Thanks, Old Man Shredder. Says, any advice on drone use in a snowboard context? Shout out DWCP crew. Say hi to our brothers there, Narav, Yan, and Emilian. Yeah, shout out to all those guys as well. So drones for snowboarding. The difficult thing with drones is that for like following somebody while they're snowboarding, it is hard to do. So I feel like the best shots are, there's like a couple different shots I think drones are really good for. One is just like filming the mountains and getting like the big perspective of the resort, of the surrounding mountains, even like the straight above shot, just to show like the scale of things. So I feel like for snowboarding, that's like a really useful thing with drones, is just showing, yeah, like where you are, and it definitely captures the environment the best, and just the scale of the mountains. The other kind of shot I think it works really well for is if you're like riding away from the drone. So there's actually a really good shot in one of TJ's recent videos on Board Archive, where the drone is kind of like flying up, and then you see like the rider kind of snowboarding into the distance. So that's a really cool shot as well. So that's like a fun one. But yeah, the difficult sort of drone shots is to have the snowboarder moving while the drone is following or filming. That one's a bit more tricky. And I feel like it works in alpine conditions decently, but not great. Like you start to just become like a very small little speck. So I don't know. I haven't really mastered it yet, but I know that there's a few drones coming out on the market that may be like more advanced for like tracking somebody. So maybe look into that. There was one that I was looking into besides the DJI Mavic Air 2. There's a different one. I can't remember the name, but it was pretty advanced for tracking people, but it hasn't been released yet. So maybe look out for those. But yeah, they do capture the environment really well. But awesome question, Old Man Shredder. Thanks for the support, man. We got Christian watching from Germany, Bavaria. Thanks for tuning in, Christian. Mike says, should I try snowboarding next season? Definitely, yes, you should. Andrew, any suggestions for snowboarding on icy slopes? Yeah, if magnet traction on your snowboard helps, or multiple contact points, the additional contact points on your board help to grip the snow. Or like another thing is to just like slide with it. So don't try to like really stop yourself on ice, just go with the ice. That's one thing I always try to do. Beeps says, hi, I live in Dubai at the moment, and we have an indoor ski area, but it's basically big slope, small knuckle, small slope knuckle, small slope knuckle. Not much space. Any tips for what I can practice? Yeah, in a small area, what would I practice? You can practice 180s just off of the ground, just little 180s off of your edges. Work on your butter tricks, tail press, nose press, maybe some butter 180s or butter 360s. Also just practice like shifting your board, like twisting your body, getting the front and back shifties down. That can help for board slides in the future. So yeah, all those different kinds of movements. But yeah, I think like indoor slope with not much space, maybe like, yeah, butters, small 180s, maybe even a 360, and even get a few carving turns down. I'm sure you have enough space to get 2 or 3 carves together. So yeah, lots of stuff to practice. JF, thoughts on the upcoming season in Canada, US? Yeah, it's going to be a surprise, I think. It just depends on how everything reveals itself over the next few months. Hopefully it's not too, hopefully everything works out well and things kind of go back to normal. So yeah, we'll just have to find out. Not sure what's going to happen, but I hope everything opens up and is as normal as possible. Pat Lee says, what do you think of the GNU Money board? Yeah, I think that's a good park board it's like a softer park board. So maybe if you are beginner, intermediate at park, it's like, I think it's a very good board. It's like softer, it's got some rocker to it, and it's like a lower priced board. So I think it's a really good sort of like intro to park snowboard. And Grandpa Bob with the super chat, thanks for the support, says, do you do goal setting before each snowboard season? I may have like 1 or 2 goals in a season. It kind of depends on what you mean by goals, but I know that like on this trip, I definitely had some trick goals in mind. So it was stuff that I was working up to. So that's like, that was like short-term goals. Some seasons we've made goals in terms of like where we want to travel to. So we may make like a list of like, say 3 or 4 resorts that we want to travel to in a season and have the goal be to reach all those destinations. So that's been really incredible and good sort of planning ahead that way. And sometimes if we like riding goals, personal riding goals, sometimes if I make them too, sometimes if I set the goal too high, then I don't reach it, and then it kind of puts too much pressure on you. But yeah, like last season, one of my goals was to do more drops and ride a bit more aggressively in powder. And I think for me, I felt like I did that. So that was a goal I kind of set out for myself. So yeah, definitely. I feel like short-term and like long season goals are something that are great to do for sure. Great question. And thanks for the support, Grandpa Bob. Awesome. And Elliot, do you think climate change will seriously affect snowboarding in the future? I don't know. I think, yeah, we'll find out. Hopefully it affects it for the good, but I don't know. Alex says, gonna be in Breckenridge for some B-Day shredding this upcoming winter. Super psyched. Also moving to Colorado. Cannot wait to be on the mountain. Awesome. Hope it's a great season there in Breckenridge. Yeah, I'll probably be in Colorado a bit, so maybe I'll see ya. And Dan says, will you only be using GoPro Max 360 from this point onwards, since it's multi-purpose and you get selfies too? If not, when would you still need / prefer the Hero line? So the Hero 8 is the one I have at the moment. So I'll probably mix it up. I feel like the GoPro Max 360 does do some like amazing shots, especially for like filming other people like in the park. And I can imagine in powder and stuff, it should be really cool. But the problem with the GoPro Max 360 is that it does take like more time to edit. So it's kind of a trade-off. In some ways you get a better video, but it takes like more time. So I'll probably mix it in throughout the season. I'll do some videos where I use both, And then some videos where I only use it and some videos where I don't use it at all. But it's just going to come down to how quickly I can learn to edit with it, because I'm trying to get videos out, 5 or 6 days a week, and I can imagine the GoPro Max may slow that down a bit. But yeah, it's definitely opening up some really cool possibilities. Yeah, the one thing I could imagine it being trouble with is that if the lens starts getting wet, it could probably really mess up the look of the 360 video. So I don't know how it's gonna do in like conditions when it's actually snowing. I may have to bust out the old GoPro for that one, but yeah, we'll be mixing it in as much as I can, because it does take some pretty cool shots. Cracked says, are you in Zermatt? Yes, I am in Zermatt right now, Zermatt, Switzerland. And King Young says, I just bought the 2020 Union Strata. What's your thoughts on pairing them with the 2020 Never Summer Fun Slinger? That's a great combo. Yeah, good park board with awesome park bindings. It's a perfect combination right there. Do it. I think it's a good one. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We got N Norton with another super chat. Says thanks for the reply, dude. Keep grinding. Your videos are always banging. Hope to meet you on the crew one day. Awesome. Yeah, M Norton. Yeah, let me know where are you from, man. Yeah, we can definitely. If we're in the area, we always try to let everyone know where we're going ahead of time. So if people do decide to come out, it's always like fun to meet fellow snowboarders. And here in Zermatt, I've had the pleasure of meeting like all kinds of riders who check out the channel. So that's been really fun as well. And M Norton, thanks for the support, man. And Tan says, can you recommend an affordable pair of boots for beginners to intermediate riders? Yeah, definitely. So I think that the Vans High Standard are pretty like good beginner intermediate boots. So there's a few in that line, a couple models, High Standard and then also the High Standard Pro. I feel like those are affordable boots that you really can't go wrong with. So if you can, try them on, see if they're comfortable on your feet. No pain or anything like that, no weird pressure points. But yeah, I was really impressed with those boots. So yeah, maybe check those ones out. Eden says, thinking about moving out of England, where would you live for the best snow? Oh, wow. So best snow, number one would probably be Japan. Niseko has probably got the best snow if you can move there. Where else has amazing snow? Somewhere, Canada's got some cool spots. I don't know where the best snow is in Canada. Whistler's great, but the snow's definitely heavier. So maybe somewhere in the interior, there's some smaller resorts in there. But someplace in Oregon, there's a spot called Mount Bachelor. An amazing spot in the US over in Oregon there, great snow. Also maybe check out, there's a small resort in Wyoming called Grand Targhee. Really amazing deep powder snow there too. So, but, and I'm sure like, I haven't had like the deepest POW days in Europe, but Lax, Switzerland I had some of the best POW snow in Lax as well. So yeah, there's a few options. If you can move anywhere in the world, check out one of those. Francisco saying, first time seeing you live. Greetings from Santa Barbara. Awesome. Shout out to everyone in Santa Barbara. George L says, do you believe that Solomon hook knife is a good beginner snowboard? Yeah, I think it's pretty decent beginner board. Yeah, it's softer. So yeah, and if you're into the freestyle part of snowboarding, it's a twin, so you can ride it in either direction. So yeah, it's a pretty decent beginner board. There's some other boards I feel like maybe even more beginner. A board that maybe has some more rocker in it, but that one's a decent one for sure because because of the softness. Kevin Ma wants to know, is a Capita Outsiders review coming? Yeah, actually, so in not the next video, but the video after that, I'll be doing a review, yeah, on the Capita Outsiders snowboard. So that video is coming soon. Reds wants to know, Kevin, did you put the lens protector on the GoPro Max when you use the camera? Yeah, so the GoPro Max, it does come with these like two lens protectors, but I was watching in a few different videos where they like would just like pop off, and I'm like thinking that I'm probably gonna lose them anyway, so I haven't bothered to put the lens protector on. I've just been going, yeah, lens protector free. But it could be a good idea to put the lens protectors on, but I feel like I'll lose them pretty quickly. But yeah, so far I've just been that's the one thing, you do have to protect the lenses, because once they get scratched, then that can be, I guess, trouble. So that, but it does come with this like soft case that you put the GoPro Max in when you're not using it, so that helps. Connor's saying about the 2020 Capita Outsiders, it's a great park board, but it dives in powder. Don't take it in deep snow. Yeah, it's like a full camber board, so it's not going to work well in powder. It's definitely more of a park progression type board. Okay. Highland Cow says, can you use surfboard wax on the top sheet of your snowboard as a DIY stomp pad? Yeah, I guess you could do that. It might look a little bit weird, but yeah, you could. I think that would work. Soy Rob says, yo, greetings from Argentina. We're having an epic season for locals only in Bariloche. Oh man, I'm super jealous. Yeah, I wish we could get down to Argentina to ride with you guys, but I'm glad you're having an incredible season. Yeah, that's great to hear. Locals only. That's a really cool experience. And Breeden wants to know, which one should I get? The GoPro Hero 8, Black, or the Max? Oh man, I think if I could only get one, I'd probably get the Max. The Max is pretty cool. Yeah, at this point, I would get the Max. It's a little bit more work to edit with, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, it's cool. And M. Norton says, can you confirm the wax on top does work? I cannot confirm that it does work. I've never tried. I feel like the best bet is just to get a stomp pad. Just grab a regular stomp pad. That should work fine. Ender says, did you see my question? I had a Burton name dropper and board, but I want to change this. Do you have any best ideas? It depends. Ender, what kind of snowboarding do you want to do? Like more powder riding, more park? It depends on what type of snowboarding you want to do. So Ender, maybe let me know where you want to progress the most, and I could give you a recommendation. Bash wants to know, are you going back to Whistler? Not anytime soon. So there's no snowboarding in Whistler at the moment. It is summertime there, which is really nice, but trying to stick to places where snowboarding is an option. So I think we'll be in Europe for the next little while, at least into September, we'll probably be in Europe. So that's the plan at the moment. Benjamin says, how long did it take you to land 360s? To be honest, I can't really remember, but when I used to teach snowboarding, I would be able to teach somebody to do a 360. Let's say somebody who is like an intermediate, high intermediate rider, they could probably learn a 360 in like 2 days. So if you like set yourself to it, and are practicing 180s and 360s outside of the park on like side banks or like side hits, you can definitely get a 360 down in a couple days. So I think it's the most important thing is actually finding a good spot to do it with some good snow. Because if you can just find like a bank on the side of the run, someplace that has some soft snow, some area where that you can ride up and pop, you could probably get a 360 within a day or two. So maybe check that out first. And Elliot says, greetings from the snowboarding on ice capital of the world, Maine. Sorry to hear that, Elliot. I hope you guys get some POW days as well. And Mike Chan says, how does the GoPro Max compare to the Insta360 offerings? I feel like they're similar. The reason I went with the GoPro Max though is that they have a plugin for Adobe Premiere so that you can edit the GoPro Max clips in Adobe. So that was one of the reasons I went for the GoPro. I'm not sure if you can do the same with the Insta360. So yeah, for me, that was the reason I went with the GoPro, was the ability to edit the footage in Adobe Premiere. Trade Mark says, how is the Outsiders working for you? Yeah, so I picked up the Capita Outsiders for park riding, for trips like this. And for me, like, I'm a little bit heavier, so I'm 185 pounds. And sometimes I felt like when I'd land on a rail, I'd have my like board would flex sometimes. So I was looking for a stiffer park board and one that had more camber. So the Capita Outsiders is definitely a bit stiffer. I would say it's like a 6 out of 10, and like, yeah, more camber dominant. So it's a more of an aggressive park board, and I've been, yeah, loving it up here in the park in Zermatt. I feel like for rails and for jumps, it's just a bit more precise, and it's also just more stable. When I'm on a feature, I definitely feel more stable. The trade-off is that it's not as forgiving. So if I make a mistake on the approach, it's definitely like, yeah, it's going to, any mistake I make on the approach is really going to come into effect. So it's not like, it's not as quick of a turning board. You actually have to be a bit of a more aggressive rider to get the benefits from it. Riding it at really slow speeds, it's not as maneuverable, and it's not as like, it's not as easy for butters either because of the stiffer flex. So it's not a great butter board, and it's not great for going at slower speeds, but for riding at high speeds, for landing on rails at high speeds, and for doing larger jumps with speed, it is definitely coming through. So I'm loving it, absolutely loving it so far. Jose Bortisa says, hey Kevin, can you can put the Max in hero mode so you don't have to use the Hero 8, and the Hero 9 is coming out soon. Yeah, good point, Jose. Yeah, you actually, that's true. I forgot you could do that. So with the GoPro Max, you can put it into hero mode, so it's only filming in one direction. Jose, coming through. Klisaru says, Kevin, are you planning to try a very wide board like the one Ryan Napton uses? No plans at the moment, but if I were riding with Ryan Napton and I had the chance to ride one of his boards, I would definitely check it out. But No plans at the moment. Ryan is like the king of wide boards and carving, so I'll leave it up to him for now. But yeah, if I see Ryan, if I'm in Colorado, yeah, I'd love to try one out. And Francisco says, do you still have both orcas? I've seen you ride both on your channel. So I do still have the one from a couple years ago, the blue orca. So I do have that one. But the last orca, it actually got damaged and it started to come apart. So I had to send it in for warranty and they gave me like my money back. So I don't have the last one, but I may buy the next orca, but I haven't decided. But yeah, the orcas have been great. Definitely my favorite paddleboard for sure. And Stoke Shredder says, do you train your body for snowboarding? What exercises do you do? I'm pretty athletic, swimming, cycling, running, calisthenics, but I still get tired after a couple of hours snowboarding. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's tough because in snowboarding, you're using all these different muscles that you don't normally use in those other sports. So it's one of those things where the only way to get sort of prepared for snowboarding is to do it more. But for me, like the main things that I do, one for my cardio is I do a lot of hiking. So normally when I'm in Whistler, there's like trails and hills and mountains to climb all around my house. So I'm doing quite a lot of hiking. And then stretching too. So I'm trying to do like about 45 minutes to an hour of stretching every night just to have that flexibility for when it comes time to snowboarding. And I should maybe do some stuff in the gym, but I typically don't do too much gym stuff. But I think it's good if you're going snowboarding and you don't go a lot, it's good to do squats, lunges, even push-ups, because when you're on the slope, you have to like push yourself up. Also sit-ups, because sometimes if you're sitting on your butt and you got to sit up off the slope, it takes some of that core strength. So I feel like those would be the ones I'd recommend. They're like squats, lunges, sit-ups, and push-ups. All right. Oh, we got a super chat from Adam, Bad Riders from Australia. Thanks, man, for the support. Says, hey Kev, look for a tag on Instagram. Got some new gear I'm keen to show off. Also, shout out to the legends of the DWC and the Righteous Mod Squad. Hashtag Aussie Adventure 2022. Awesome, Adam. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'll definitely check out you on Instagram and check out some of your new gear. Man, I can't wait to see it. But yeah, thanks for the support, Adam. Another one of the legends, somebody I got to meet in Melbourne, Australia at I believe it's called the Melbourne Snow Center. Had an awesome time, met tons of Aussies down there. And yeah, definitely missing being over in Australia too. So Aussie Adventure 2022. Yeah, we'll definitely check out your new gear, man. Thanks for the support. And Rami says, you can try my Napton Twin 157 anytime you want in Whistler. It's not as big as Ryan's board, but you'll feel the difference. Awesome. Thanks, Rami. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I see a few of those Donek boards around, and they're very intimidating for sure. Lord wants to know, what do you do for a living? Full-time YouTube. So that's why I'm here in Zermatt now. If I was working a normal job, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be waiting for winter. But yeah, the snowboard YouTube is year round. So full-time YouTube snowboarding. E-Dog with a great question too says, how do I hit big jumps? Because I can do big jumps on my bike, but not on my snowboard. Good question, man. So actually, the last video I filmed was how to get back into jumps, like sort of like a first day back into jumps video. So that's coming out soon, so stay tuned for that one. But for me, being back for the first day, what I was doing is first thing, I went through the jumps, took a good look at them, so looking at the takeoff, looking at the landing, so I had sort of like that visual in my head of what the jump was gonna be like. Then I was like sort of waiting for the snow conditions to get I guess like perfect. So first thing in the morning, they're a little bit icy and firm. So I waited a little while for like the snow to soften up so that if I did take a bail, it was gonna be on like sort of softer snow. And then after that, I was like watching a lot of other people hit the jumps. So I actually stood where other people were leaving to drop in for the jumps, and I was watching like how much speed they were taking in. So there was actually a spot that I saw where people would ride to, and then they would point their board straight from a certain spot. So I was keeping an eye on that, like trying to get the speed dialed from watching other people. And then and then when I went to do mine for the first time, I rode in. I tried to stay as balanced over my board as I could. I had my like back hand over my tail, front hand over my nose, and I always feel too, it's like my board is flat, but I'm maybe like slightly on my toes, just slightly. I feel like that helps. And then, for the takeoff, I try to bend my knees as much as possible. So like bringing my knees up helps me feel a bit more balanced. And then once I'm in the air, I'm starting to like spot my landing. So I'm looking at the landing, and then I plan to like not kill all my speed in one turn, but like land straight and then do a couple turns to help you like cut your speed. But yeah, it's always best too to like start small. Like for me, the other day, I went straight to the larger jumps, which is, I don't normally do that. Normally I'll start like as small as possible and then like slowly work my way up. But at the Zermatt Park, they had like a medium line that I wasn't too keen on hitting. So I went straight for the larger line. And because I've had just like lots of experience in the past with hitting larger jumps, it wasn't too difficult for me, but I'd recommend for you just progress on the smallest and progress slowly. I don't know if you saw my latest video as well, but one of the tips I give for park progression is to actually let it progress like over, say, like a week. So like by day 7, you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable in the park than day 1. So if you're progressing on jumps, just know that it may, like if you start on the small jumps, it may take you like a week or even a few weeks before you're hitting the largest. And it's just like, as you feel comfortable, then you can start stepping it up. But yeah, stay tuned because I'll have like a more detailed video coming out soon from me getting back into the larger jumps. But yeah, really great question, man. And Adam Bad Riders with another GoPro Max question, just asking how heavy is it? It's actually very light. So the pole I have is a carbon fiber pole. It's super light pole, and then the GoPro Max, I feel like it's like the same weight as a GoPro. I don't know. It's around here somewhere, but I think it's like the same weight. It's not too bad. Tony's saying, yo, hope to see you on Mount Hood sometime next year. Yeah, definitely. I definitely missed being at Mount Hood for the summer session this year, but yeah, hopefully be there next year. Yeah, another one of my favorite places to snowboard, Mount Hood, Oregon. So much fun. Tony, I'll definitely see you there next year, man. Steve's saying, watching other people hit jumps gives you a lot of confidence. Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah. Clisaru says, Kevin, do you want me to come and film you Sunday in case you want some kind of vacation and just enjoy the day? Awesome. Thanks for the offer, man. But I'm actually not going to be here on Sunday. So I'm leaving tomorrow, but I'll be back in September. So maybe if you're here in September, we can do a few laps and film, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be here Sunday, man. Braden wants to know, I can only snowboard like once a year. So what are some things I can do to get better? If you're only snowboarding like once a year, I would say like it's probably best just to work on your like riding in general technique. So doing things like using your edges to spray snow at the side, that can really help. Maybe try some like single carving turns. So trying to ride your snowboard's edge and leave like a line in the snow behind you. So getting used to carving. It kind of depends on where you're at. I don't know what your level is, but you can even try like a few switch turns, maybe spend like 30 minutes practicing your switch. And then if you like the freestyle stuff, start practicing butters. So leaning into your tail, leaning into your nose, getting a few different presses down, and then maybe even progress onto ollies. But yeah, once a year, I guess you don't want to try to like take too much risk. You want to kind of keep it within like a safe margin of progression. But yeah, there's definitely try a few of those to progress with that one trip a year. And Boredem says, how old is too old to snowboard? I'm mid 40s and bails start to hurt. Definitely, man. So you're not too old for sure. I have some friends who are in their late 40s or even 50 who still ride in the park. So you can definitely still do it. I would say like, yeah, if the bails hurt, then maybe make sure you wear all the safety gear. So like impact shorts, helmet, maybe wrist guards, or even some other like you can get knee pads as well. And then when you're out there riding, maybe you just need to take like that little extra time to progress. So that risk management maybe becomes like even a higher priority, so that you're not falling or like taking hard bails that could put you out for like a longer recovery time. So yeah, just ride a bit more conservatively. Have some extra safety gear on, and I think you're good to go, man. Catro Cloud says, "Hey, do you think which battalion is a good board for good park board? I think buying the Magic Carpet. Thinking about buying the Magic Carpet." Yeah, Battalion is one of those brands. Like for me personally, I'm not a fan of Battalion for park riding. I feel like it's such like a loose feeling board that it's not my like preference. I know some people love the Battalion boards, like TJ over on Board Archive. He loves the Battalion Evil Twin, and he's amazing in the park. So I know that it does work for some people, but for me, I'm not the biggest fan of Battalions. But the Magic Carpet could be the board for you. I don't know. Yeah, I think a lot of people are a big fan of the Evil Twin, so maybe check that one out too. And a question, Union Force is good for carving turns. Yeah, the Union Force are good for carving turns for sure. You can almost carve on any binding, but the stiffer the binding, sometimes the better for carving. I think when you get to like the really high, like expert carves, you want like the stiffest binding possible, but like sort of intermediate to like low advanced carving turns, then the Union Force I think are a good like stiffness. Stoker's got a great question. Says, is it a bad habit when I counter rotate in a lot of my turns? Any tips on improving riding alignments? Absolutely, yeah. So if you guys don't know, counter rotating basically means is when you go to do your turn, you kind of like twist, and you got your upper and lower body twist in opposite directions when making your turn. And what that can lead to is just like you being a bit off balance throughout the turns. So the way to fix that is and I think it happens mostly on the toe turns. And the way to fix that is that when you go to do your toe turn, first try to do the toe turn a little bit more gradually. So don't do it so quick. Make it a little bit of a longer toe turn. And then next, with your backhand, make sure that your backhand stays over top of the tail of your board. So by keeping your backhand over top of the tail of your board, it's going to keep your upper body in line with your lower body and your snowboard. So yeah, try that out. I think those two things will help the most. Trying to make the toe turn a little bit slower and bigger, And as you do it, keep your backhand over top of your tail. And I think that should fix your counter rotating problem. Stoker saying, I get the feeling I can't go as fast enough when I try to ride aligned. Well, that's the thing. There's times where you want to be everything lined up and good, and sometimes when you do want to use that twisting and countering. So it kind of depends. It depends on the riding situation. When I was a snowboard instructor, they really taught us to like always ride in alignment. But then after I got out of teaching, I started to definitely play around with my snowboard riding style a bit more, and it is actually very effective at times too to be twisting and a little bit more like counter rotated and getting twisted. So sometimes you do want to twist to make quick turns, and other times you want to be aligned. It just kind of depends on the riding scenario. All right. Let's see who else is on here. Brandon, what is a good board to get? A good board, it depends on what you want to do in snowboarding. So that's kind of a tricky one. And Tracy, any recommendation for a board for a beginner? So yeah, the best beginner snowboard, most companies will have a board that is more suited for beginners, and typically it's the cheapest board. So I would start there looking at like the cheapest model, and then you want a board that has some rocker towards the tips, so the board actually like rises away from the snow as it gets to the tips. That's going to make it a bit easier to turn. I think a softer snowboard is also good for beginners, so like the flex around like a 4 to 10. And I also like boards that have what they call like multiple contact points. So along the edge, some boards, the edge will actually be like wavy. It's called magnet traction, and that gives you like some grip on your edge. And each company has like different variations of that to give you like some grip. So I think a good beginner board has like a combination of all those things. But yeah, start just looking at different board brands and like the cheapest board that they offer. And a lot of boards have those like details to them. So yeah, check that out. And Wantani saying, do you know if it's possible to get sick tracking shots of someone snowboarding with the Mavic 2? I don't know. I think it's like difficult for sure. I haven't done it myself, but I know that it is hard to track a snowboarder with a drone. So it's not the easiest thing to do for sure, especially if there's trees, it's pretty much impossible. If it's like a wide open like alpine space, then that's probably the best scenario. Someplace like on top of the mountain where there's like a lot of like wide open space, that's probably the best chance of doing it. Brody's saying, how would you recommend someone to get out of their head when first learning to get good at snowboarding? Oh wow, yeah, that's a good question. I think like to get out of your head, what can you do? I feel like just like find something that you really enjoy about snowboarding, and then maybe try to like get into that. So looking at whether it's like for learning tricks or for just like free riding, I feel like when you're really enjoying it, that's when you can get out of your head. So yeah, think about something that you, what was that? Think about something that you enjoy doing in snowboarding, and that can help you get out of your head for sure. Meme Gang says, I just bought a secondhand snowboard and it's very stiff. Do you know if it's good for beginners? Probably not. I don't recommend stiff boards for beginners because typically a very stiff snowboard, is also going to be a bit more aggressive. So when you're going to make those first turns, it's not going to be like very like, excuse me guys, it's not going to be very quick to turn, because usually a full camber stiff board, it's just a bit slower. So I don't know, stiff is not the best beginner board. Maybe if you can maybe sell it and get a different one, that's maybe an option, but maybe give it a try. Maybe it's okay, but stiffer is usually not great for beginners. And Samo is saying, have you ever tried the T-Rice Gold member? If yes, how does it feel? I haven't ridden that board, but yeah, it looks very cool, especially like the split board version. But yeah, I'd be interested to try it, but I have not tried that one out yet. And Man Like Eads says, what are your favorite resorts in Europe? Good question. Man, it's hard to say. So far, Zermatt has been amazing. I've had a great summer experience here. And then besides here for snowboarding, the Stubai Glacier has been really fun in Austria. St. Anton was incredible. Lac, Switzerland was great. Avoriaz and Morzine in France have been great. Pretty much everywhere I've been to has been amazing. So nothing bad to say about anywhere in Europe. Stoked Shredder says, don't forget to hit that like button, everyone. Awesome. Thanks, man. Awesome. So we're going to end the live chat there, just over an hour. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. Appreciate everyone that did a super chat. Thank you guys for the support. And yeah, thanks everyone for liking the video, for all your comments and questions. I hope you guys are having a great summer out there. If you're in the north, and if you're down the south, I hope you guys are having a good snowboard season as well. But yeah, hope you guys are all doing safe. I hope everyone's happy out there, having a good time. And I'll talk to you guys next Thursday. But yeah, until then, I'm definitely going to have some videos coming out. I got a vlog coming out. I have another tutorial on hitting jumps, and also a review on the Capita Outsiders board. So lots of different videos coming out for you guys. If you haven't yet, definitely subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you get notified every time that I do one of these live chats. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Have a good week out there. I'll see you guys again soon. Later, guys.